Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out absurd inventions that should not exist by BlueJay. I'm not sure if these will be some sort of old inventions or new ones that exist today, but we'll see.
It's the 6th century BC, ancient
Okay,
Greece,
so it's
and
old
the inventor
stuff.
Perilos was going to impress the king. Like any good inventor, Perilos recognized a niche that needed to be filled. Tyrants often found themselves with a bunch of prisoners in need of a good old flick on the off switch, and these executions needed to be as horrific as possible to dissuade would-be ne'er-do-wells. So how could one go about burning delinquents alive while making the spectacle fun for the whole family? Perhaps we could burn the criminals inside of something that was much nicer to look at than charring flesh. If we learned anything from Fisher-Price toys, it's that kids love their animals. But if we learned anything else, it's also that the bull doesn't go, "Oh, it burns! It burns!" So after snapping some synapses of his sinister little Satan cerebrum, he invented the Brazen Bull. A bronze statue of a bull that sits over a fire with just enough space inside for some criminal stew. However, the real human meat and potatoes of the device was in the statue's snoot, an acoustic series of
you can hear the noises.
The screams of the poor ingredients inside into a sound like the bellows of a bull. With his prototype complete, Perilos pitched his beast to the ruthless King Phalaris of Acrogos, claiming the screams of the condemned would bring pleasure to his ears. And I guarantee you, the screams of the damned coming out of this puppy would be sick as hell.
What if he's sacrificed?
Yahweh, check it. Holy shit, that's awesome! Guards, put that on a repeat for me. What? Disgusted by Perilos. Shit, that's awesome! Guards, put
did
that
they
on
actually put him in there?
What? Disgusted by Perilos' description of the device, Phalaris tricked Perilos by asking him to demonstrate the horns, locking him inside, and setting fire underneath the bull to hear the inventor's quite genuine demonstration. Before getting too medium well, the tyrant's tender heart decided to show mercy, freeing Perilos from the Brazen Bull and throwing him off a cliff. The tale of the Brazen Bull is difficult to verify, and very well could have been more legend than fact.
It's probably fake.
However, the lessons it teaches are all too real. Now, Jeff, tell me, what was Perilos' biggest mistake here? Whoa, dude, his edible's really kicking in. That's right, he didn't file for a patent. A patent would have given Perilos intellectual property over his Brazen Bull, and thus make it illegal for third parties, like the king, to use his device without his permission. In short, if you're gonna deal with devils,
I don't think the king would have cared.
Language. The letter of the law. The light of redemption shines upon my face from above. I climb as my mortal shadow clings to my soul. Jesus, man, what the fuck did you take? Here. Hell yeah, now it's a party. Dude, no, it's water. God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm just gonna let you sit this one out and rest. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Anyway, for inventors around the world, patents are the must-have piece of paper for granting them ownership over whatever gadgets or gizmos they can puke out of their imaginations. However, even
and so that they can abuse those patents,
you're unlikely to be able to patent something as overtly unethical as a human crockpot murder statue. But that doesn't mean there's not gray areas. So today, we're gonna learn about the inventors that really push the moral envelope and create
the patents and make the people suffer.
Patents.
Oh wait, a baby cages. I think I've heard of those before. Yeah, it's messed up. Definitely shouldn't exist.
Back in 1927. Oh, sorry, that must be my wife.
1927,
hey, honey,
so that's 99 years ago now. Almost 100.
Talk about her small business. You're married to an F-16? Hey, she's an F-14. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle. In 1927, there once was a bright mind in California who shared a hobby with yours truly. Punishing naughty boys. Helene Adelaide Shelby was on a mission to solve the problem of the high number of retracted confessions plaguing the criminal justice system. What good was arresting naughty little boys if so many of them evaded being chained up in a cell, Helene thought. Therefore, our hero decided to target this issue at its source, the interrogation room. Questioning culprits with your run-of-the-mill detective was so 1910s fashion after all, so she found herself pondering a question we all have from time to time. What if, instead of a random dude in a button-up threatening them with some measly prison time, the culprits feared for their mortal soul instead? Behold, the future. The suspect, believed to have killed a man in cold blood, nervously inches his way into a dark room, the door slamming shut behind him. The space before him is
psychological torture,
save for a single curtain draped over the far wall. His breath catches and heart pounds as chains clink taut, lifting the curtain and revealing his guilt. the skeletal remains of the very man he murdered, standing once more before
So actually
him.
psychological
A shroud
torture.
of ominous light radiates from the bloodlusted red light bulbs in his eyes. Wait a minute, light bulb? But before he can question further, his hair stands on end as he suddenly hears a winding, painful churn emanate from the corpse, sounding suspiciously like a tape recorder.
Oh.
It is I, Michael Dahlman. Confess to your crimes.
Could I just have a lawyer?
Fuck.
Helene filed a patent for an apparatus for obtaining criminal confessions and recording them.
Nah,
In
that's
essence, it was a
dumb.
lie detector consisting of a skeleton in a dark room with spooky lighting and red light bulbs for eyes. With a megaphone and film camera in its skull, Helene
I'm sorry, this is what, 1927? 1930? There's no way people were stupid enough to believe in ghosts at this point in time.
Helene's goal was to induce a supernatural experience to work upon the suspect's imagination and cause them to spontaneously confess to their crimes. And honestly, not a terrible idea. After all, the fear of supernatural punishment works for Catholic boys in confessional booths, but that was because of a different kind of bone. Now, is it immoral
my
to
God.
patent a device whose primary function is essentially psychological torture? Sure, but that's only a problem if you're using it on people. These are criminals. But regardless, there doesn't seem to be any evidence that this was ever actually
I mean, to be fair, once you're a convicted criminal, those things called rights, you kind of lose them, don't you?
built and used, which is probably a blessing in disguise as it's pretty much the poster child for a coerced confession. Criminals aren't quite people, as we've learned, but believe it or not, they are still good for one thing. Their bodies. No, I don't just mean the bountiful slave labor they provide for pennies on the dollar in the land of the free. I'm talking about their corpses. With medical schools booming post-American Civil War, the study of anatomy and dissection on cadavers was growing in demand. And if you were one of the up-and-coming surgical students looking to slice and dice in a way that suffice, you needed a steady supply of legal corpses in the form of donors or executed criminals. But unfortunately for them, the demand had begun to outpace the supply for corpses, so it looks like they're shit out of luck. What's that, Timmy? Oh, sure, go for it. Oh, well, this solves everything. The illicit body snatching trade was at an all-time high in the late 1800s, providing perfect, albeit slightly decomposed bodies for all your student slicing needs. And so naturally, this also opened a market for the anti-body snatching trade. Enter Philip K. Clover, an Ohio artist who got to work theorizing ways to shoot body snatchers in the foot. What if I shoot them in the foot? Introducing the coffin torpedo. Patented in 1878, the invention sought to, quote, prevent the unauthorized resurrection of dead bodies. To do this, an explosive would be rigged underneath the coffin lid with a tripwire so that when a would-be thief took a gander inside, they'd be met with a mouthful of lead pellets, increasing the body count in the grave. Why bother trying to change a criminal's heart when you can just remove it? Obviously,
you know
this
what?
would be
Honestly,
an excellent deterrent for any aspiring grave
I'm all
robbers.
for this one.
You know, so long as you're careful about when you said it. Hey, it's supposed to be an open casket. Wait! Jeffrey! No! Hey, it's supposed to be an open casket.
No!
There was also the grave torpedo, patented in 1881, but instead of a 12-gauge makeover hidden inside the coffin lid, this one was pretty much just a landmine buried above the coffin. A pretty brutal deterrent, only made more fitting by the ominous advertisement for the device stating, Sleep well, sweet angel, let no fears of ghouls disturb thy rest, for above thy shrouded form lies a torpedo, ready to make minced meat of anyone who attempts to convey you to the pickling vat. A description that comes off a little too eager for gore, in my opinion, so I wouldn't be surprised if this guy spent many a night hiding in cemeteries to see if his device worked. Yo boy, here they come!
Boom.
This is it? Yeah, I can't believe it. We did it, George. We finally found my father's grave after 10 long years. I'd just about given up hope, but I knew how much he wanted me to have the Peters family locket that he was buried with. It's been in our family for 145 years, after all. Myself and my 8 young children, all under the age of 9, half of which who have disabilities, will be so thrilled to have the back in our family. I'm their only source of support left after the tragic passing of their mother and all of our extended relatives in a series of horrific accidents. They could really use a pick-me-up. Speaking of, can you help me pick this up?
It's unclear how widespread these devices were in their time, but there were reported cases of them killing or injuring a number of robbers. However, innovations in refrigeration
deserved.
would soon curve the corpse supply problem, so these devices would be rather short-lived. And good thing they were, because I doubt OSHA would be too fond of having cemetery workers basically stare a live Victorian claymore in the face as they carefully lower it 6 feet into the ground without any sudden movements. But enough about people at the end of their lives. What about the beginning? The wonder of childbirth is said to be one of the most beautiful moments you can ever experience. I don't say that. I find it C tier at best, but maybe we can make it better. Have you ever been giving birth and thought to yourself, not enough G-force? No. Well, back in the 1960s,
I'm not a woman.
George and Charlotte Blonsky sought to spin things up in the baby delivery meta by literally spinning the woman up, submitting a patent for a, quote, apparatus for facilitating the birth of a child by centrifugal force. Seeking to reverse the decline in both infant and maternal mortality rates, the idea was to strap an expectant mother to a table shaped like a foreshadowing crucifix, pull a lever, and then spin the poor woman on the most painful day of her life until the baby pops out into a net. Delivering a baby and giving it its first crib? Now that's what I call killing two birds with one stone. Except the birds are people.
Yeah, you're gonna kill them.
And a mother and child. Now, you might imagine the Blonsky couple must have come up with this idea based on their own childbirth experiences. No, they were childless. Instead, they got the idea from a zoo, where they watched an elephant spinning around in labor.
You're kidding me.
Wow, nature is beautiful. Sir, do they always do that? What? Oh yeah, like, that's just nature. Supposedly, they were told by the zookeeper that this was something elephants do all the time before giving birth, which, by the way, is just not true?
Yeah.
I couldn't confirm that anywhere in my research,
nonsense.
so that guy was probably just fucking with them. And thank God he did, because it ended up giving me excellent YouTube content. They believed a device like this was necessary because, as they put it, civilized women did not have the musculature present in more primitive women, who had easy and pain-free childbirths. Because what is a 1960s patent without a wee bit of racial undertones? I'm sure there's probably a few-
So they were trying to say that women in the 1960s had births that were more painful than hundreds, if not thousands of years ago? That's called delusion. The people of the 1960s didn't know how comfortable they had it compared to what people hundreds or thousands of years ago had. Fucking idiots.
Going through your minds. Like, what if it doesn't spin fast enough to get the baby out? No, it will. It got up to 7 Gs of force. For reference, that's as much as Apollo 16 experienced on re-entry of Earth's
so that's just gonna kill you.
This would essentially turn your precious newborn into a 54-pound medicine ball desperately pushing to rupture the walls of your womb. Other features include an emergency brake for safety or comedic effect, and a bell to announce the joyous occasion and signal the end of the ride. It's reported that this device was never used, and no babies were born this way, although I believe we have evidence that proves otherwise. At the end of the day, the fetus fidget spinner was truly ahead of its time, as I can 100% see this device selling well in our current environment, given some slight modifications. Alright, ma'am, you ready for the happiest day of your life? Yes, I'm just happy this should make the process quick. Not too quick, though. Try to hold on for about 27 seconds for me, and aim for black. The father's white. Place your bets, folks, place your bets. Betting ends in 25 seconds. $50 on red, 100 on first 12. It's coming! You better hold it in or I'm charging the payouts to your medical bill. The Wheel of Misfortune was awarded the Ig Nobel Prize posthumously in 1999, a parody award of the Nobel Prize. Because after all, an idea doesn't have to be good to get a patent, it just has to be new. But I can't imagine there are any ideas going through your head right now, Jeff. Jeff?
I think he's dead.
Oh, I gave you lean.
He's dead.
That's not gonna help someone who's about to OD. You really shouldn't have drank that.
I was wondering why it's purple.
Besides, I need his username and password for War Thunder. Make sure to check them out on PC, Playblade, and 600 out there. Know in the comments if you want a part 2. Immoral Patents. 10 out of 10 stars.
Yeah, safe to say, the title is correct. These inventions should not exist. But unfortunately they do. Because there's just really messed up people in this world. Always have been. And always will be. But the grave robbing one was good in my opinion. Because if you're trying to rob a grave, steal a dead body, you deserve to get shot in the face. You do. You really do. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.